Batra Daf, Noon Zayin, continuing from Noon Zayin, Amud Bet, 12 lines down. Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Bana'a. Bakol Shutafin Makvin Zed Zed. Regarding all things that's happening in my partner's courtyard, we're able to stop each other if it's a bad activity, if it's bothering me, etc. Hutz Menakivisa for washing clothing, because I need them to do it. They need to do it in their courtyard because it's not proper. It's not the correct way for Jewish women to go to the public rivers in order to wash their clothing. Therefore, we have to let them do it in the courtyards. It's not sneut. We also may not Pasuk says, "He who turns his eyes away from evil he who should turn his eyes away from evil." This is referring to women. This is referring to someone who does not look at women while they're washing clothing by the river because they're lifting their clothing up and exposing their legs. So the Gemara says, what's the case? If there's a way that you could avoid this route that goes by where the women are washing by the river, Rashau. If the guy is still passing by, he's a Rasha because he should have gone around. There's no other way. I know Sudan is a mistake. So how can you stop him? The Gemara said, there's no other way. He has to pass by. But nevertheless, a person should force himself not to stare. Right? They always say the first time is an accident, to shuf a second time is the Isur. How long should the clothing of Tamil Hacham be? Where says long enough that you should not be able to see his skin at all. He has to be covered head to toe. How about the outer clothing? How long should that be? It should be so long that you can't even see the inner cloak that we just mentioned. So both of them should be head to toe. Shoulder to toe. How do you set the table for Tamil Hacham? Where it says 2/3 of the table should be covered with a tablecloth. And the third part should be uncovered. That uncovered part should have dishes and vegetables, and the part with the tablecloth has the wine and everything that could spill. The table's ring, they used to have this, it wasn't like a table, it was like a tray. So that the table top would be able to hang on the wall when you're not in usage by the ring on the side. So that ring should be on the opposite side of where everybody's sitting, so that it's not next to you. The Gemara says, but we know, but Batra says that the ring should be inside, towards the diners, the guys who are eating. The Gemara says, no. If there's children there, then you want it on the outside so they don't play with it. If there's no children, then you could put it on the inside so that the waiters don't walk by and hit it. You can even answer that there's no children at all. When do we say that you have to put it inside towards the eaters, the eating guys, the diners? Is when there's waiter. So therefore you don't want him to walk into it. But when there's no waiter, then you could put it on the outside. Both cases have waiters. Black kasha is still no stira, there's no contradiction. During the day, you could leave it on the outside because the waiter will see it. And well, you could put it on the inside is when there is a waiter, when it's nighttime, and therefore he won't be able to see it. So therefore you should put it by you so that he doesn't hit it. Whereas if by the table of the Amaretz, unlearned person, it's like a campfire with pots all around it. The guy just set everything around, uncovered, etc. How does the bed of a Talmid Chacham look? This is very important. Any bed doesn't have underneath it. His hard leather shoes during the summer and soft leather shoes during the raining winter season. That's the appropriate shoes they had. Those should be underneath the bed, and that's it. But looks like a chaotic storehouse, like a warehouse of all this different stuff he keeps underneath. You should not have anything underneath the bed except for a pair of shoes, maybe like slippers. The rest should be empty, no food, no storage. Food that you have under your bed is a big problem. Next, would mark the burial plots of big people so that people who were going to visit them, they won't become tamesu, who would mark where you're able to walk for Kohanim. When he came to Abraham Avinu's kever, he found that the servant of Abraham, who we know did not pass away because he's a Sadiq, the guy he was standing at the entrance, like guarding it. Amarle, he said to him, Abraham, what's Abraham doing right now? Amarle, he said, he's lying in the arms of Sarah, and she is looking at his head. They're embracing each other. Some say that they were together. But this is all very spiritual because we know they passed away. So their physical bodies are not doing anything that may seem to be physically inappropriate. And sure enough, he said, go tell Eliezer, go tell Abraham that Bena'ah is standing outside. When he told him, Abraham Avinu said, come inside. He knows, the rabbi knows there's no physical desire in Olam Haba. And therefore, I'm not afraid of you saying anything. He entered and he measured and he left. When he reached the Kever of Adam Rishon, a voice came out from Shemaim and said, you already looked at the image of my image, Yani Yaakov, etc., who was the copy of Adam Rishon. But don't look at the original image. Yani Adam Rishon was the original image of Hashem. That's the closest. Don't look at him. Don't enter. But then Rabbi said, I need to mark the kever. I need to mark the grave. So I have to get in. So the answer, the voice answered, so the machlok at how the Merat Machpelah is made, whether is it two floors of kivarim or is it inner and outer? So according to each opinion, whether either way you hold, the voice answered the bat call, the voice from Shemaim answered that appropriately. So if it was inner and outer, the voice said that the same way it was inner, the same measurements are for the outer, so you don't have to enter. Vice versa. And according to the opinion, the whole has two floors. He said the same way that is the first floor, same thing for the second floor, you don't need to enter. When I passed by, I saw the heels of Adam Harishon. They were like two suns there. So shiny his skin. Now, interesting. Any person compared to Sarah, Kikof Bnei Adam is like a monkey compared to a human. Sarah B'fnei Hava, Sarah compared to Hava, Kikof Bnei Adam is like a monkey compared to a human. Hava B'fnei Adam, Hava compared to Adam Rishon, Kikof Bnei Adam is a monkey compared to a human. Yani Adam Rishon was extremely good looking. Adam B'fnei Shechina, but Adam compared to the Shechina, Hashem, Kikof Bnei Adam is like a monkey compared to a person. Okay. Shufre de Rabbi Kana, the beauty of Rav Kana, Me'en Shufre de Rav is a similar to Rav. Me'en Shufre de Rabbi Abba was similar to the beauty of Rabbi Abba. Shufre de Rabbi Abba's beauty, Me'en Shufre de Yaakov Vinu was similar to the beauty of Yaakov Vinu. Shufre de Yaakov Vinu, Me'en Shufre de Rishon Yaakov was similar to Rishon. Like we just mentioned, Hashem said that you already saw how the copy of my image looks like Yaakov compared to Adam, who's the original image. Hahu Amgusha, there was a magician, the Haba Hatit Jachri, who would dig up dead bodies and take their clothing. He would reach the kever of Rav Tuvi. He tried to take off his clothing. The body of the rabbi grabbed him by the beard and wouldn't let go. Atabaya came. Amalei told the Rav Tuvi's body, please let him go. And he let him go. For some reason, the next year, the magician came again to try to go to the corpse. The corpse was grabbed him by his beard. Should have shaved. Atabaya came. But this time the body would not let go. Until Abaye brought scissors and cut off his beard in order to release him. Okay. There's a guy who told his sons when he was dying, as an inheritance, I'm leaving one barrel of earth to one son. One barrel of bones to another son. One barrel of cotton to another son. They didn't understand what is he talking about. How he's splitting his inheritance? He hasn't got no barrels. After they came to Rabbi, he said to them, did your father have land? And he says, yes. Did your father have animals? In, yes. Did your father have cloths? In, he said, yes. He said, that's exactly what he's talking about. When he said earth, is referring to land. When he said the barrel of bones, is referring to the animals. Barrel of cotton was referring to the cloths. Okay. Hahugar was a guy, who heard his wife telling their daughter, why are you doing incorrect things? You're doing adultery without hiding it. And sure enough, she admits something very quite disgusting. She's talking about the woman, the mother's talking about herself to her daughter. She says, I have 10 sons, and only one of them is from your own father. Shema Yisrael. When the father was dying, he told his family, I want all my possessions to my son. We don't know which one he's referring to. I feel like when they came to Rabbanah, he told them, he says, go hit the grave of your father until he tells you which one. Interesting, right? They all went. But his actual true son never did not go because he didn't want to disrespect his father's grave. He said to them, all the possessions go to this brother because he's obviously the legit one. The other 9 were upset. So they went to informed on Rabbi and I to the government, to the king. They said, there's one Jewish guy to come up, he would take money away from people without proof, without a testimony. I too have sure the king's guards took him and put him in jail. As a Levite, his wife had a good idea. She came before the king's bedin, king's court. She said, I have a slave, that cut off, and robbers cut off his head. They stripped his skin. They ate his meat. And they drank water with his skin. And they also gave his students to drink. They didn't pay me for it, and they didn't pay me rent for it. Now, obviously, the king's court was like, what is this lady talking about? They didn't understand what she was saying. They said, let's bring the Jewish wise man, Rabbi Ben-Ah, but then he'll tell us what this lady's saying. They brought him. He said to them, she's talking about a goat. That what? What happened? Her goat was stolen. They killed it. They skinned it, ate it, and they used its skin to make a water bottle. And they were using the water bottle, the goat skin water, and drinking it with everybody. So she was saying that this is what happened, and therefore they understood what she was saying. So they said, "Oh, Hakim Kulhai, this guy is so smart. Let's put him in part of the king's courtyard, the king's court." When he came to the new courtroom, he noticed there was a phrase in the doors by the entrance. Any judge that's coming to court, can't be called a judge. If a judge has a complaint against him in court, he can't be a judge. Now, he said to them, I said, what's the problem? That's a big problem. That's the English man. Any guy comes off the street and summons one of the judges to court, making pasul. That's not fair. Anybody can make up a claim. He says, any judge that's summoned to court, and only if he loses the court case and money gets taken away from Yani, the guy was guilty, then he can't be a judge. But any other case, baseless court summonses should not be a problem. They wrote that on top of the inscription. They wrote, the Jewish man said, the court is, if a judge is called in and loses money, he's guilty, then he's not a good judge. Okay. He saw another inscription. At every death, the reason is blood, and at all of life is wine. Meaning, the cause for death is too much blood. They believed in bloodletting back then to release blood, and he said, the cause of life is wine. Wine will help everything. So, Rabbi Ben-Ah didn't like that. He says, okay, if someone falls off the roof and dies, and someone fell from the palm tree and dies, is that because of the bloodletting? No, he killed himself. It's like COVID. The guy got hit by a car. They wrote it down as COVID. So they said, if you do additionally, the person who's about to die, is wine going to heal him if he drinks it? No. So obviously, blood and wine is not the difference between life and death. He says, this is what you should write instead. Any at the head of all illness, blood is the reason, too much blood. And at the head of all the cures, wine can help. Okay, they wrote that. The illnesses causes blood, cures is wine, and if you have no wine, then you could use herbs. Okay, the following thing was written by the entrance of Kaputkaya, as a place in Turkey. Anbag, Antal. These 3 measurements are identical. If you ever come across any of them, they're identical. Antal, what is measurements? Each of the Torah is referring when the Torah says Revi'it, which comes out a lot of the measurements in the Torah. That's what the Antal is, and all these 3 things are the same. Amen.